Alright. Hey guys. Welcome back to my channel. Real Talk Recovery. Where we talk about recovery from addiction. Hey girl, what are you doing? Where did I leave off? I'm trying to remember where I left off last week. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I know where we left off. Hey guys, what's up? We're in the second half of More About Alcoholism. Big book study tonight. Welcome to everybody that's here. You did come at the right time. We are on page 34. Sorry, Sonia. I fell asleep, girl. I think I'm fixing to start TMI. I think I'm fixing to start my period, you guys, so I was like really tired today. We're on page 34 and we're going to go to we're going to go from page 34 to page 38, okay? 34 to 38 is what we're going to read today. So, boom, boom, boom. I hope you guys are ready. I am. And that's why I think I was having such a, hard time this morning. I was, really crying. Okay, cool, girl. I was just, having a really hard time, and I guess my emotions and stuff are just running really high. But I'll tell you this. I got my Fitness Pal, you guys. I downloaded it on my phone. Hey, Shay. And I had a turkey sandwich and pretzels for lunch. And then this evening, I really didn't want to cook any dinner, so I just had another turkey sandwich with some pretzels. So, I mean, I think I had 1,000 calories. 385 was what I had for lunch. And then I hate the same things. And I think I had 385. No, girl, it never came. It never came. I've been waiting on it for it to come. Yeah, it hasn't came for this month yet. June yet. It was supposed to, but it just hasn't came yet. Yeah, I never started bleeding. I know. Doesn't that suck? That happens all the time. I think it'll be coming and I'll be waiting for it. Or maybe I had it in May. I just haven't had it for June yet. So maybe it was just about 20 days ago in May. Maybe you're right. I don't know. Anyway. Either way, I'm emotional. Okay? And like I said, I only ate 385 plus 385. So that's 800 calories, which I have a little bit of calories to give or take, right? So I got the MyFitnessPal going. Thank you, everybody, who's been telling me. And I just wasn't listening because, I don't know, I thought I could do it on my own. But I literally got that little thing, you guys, and I, typed in everything that I ate or that I was going to eat. I didn't even make it. I typed in the exact name of the turkey, the exact name of the bread, the exact name of the cheese, the exact name of the honey Dijon mustard, down to the T. So, and I drank 3 of those big tall things of water, and after I get off here with you guys, I'm going to drink another one. So, we are on the road to nutritious and delicious. So let's go ahead and start. I'm going to read. Sorry I didn't upload it early for you guys today. I've just been really tired, so take it for what that is. You know what I mean? So we left off last week on page 34, very top of the page. So, but try and get them to see it. As we look back, we feel we had gone on drinking many years beyond the point where we could quit on our own willpower. If anyone questions whether he has entered this dangerous area, let him try leaving liquor alone for 1 year. If he is a real alcoholic and very far advanced, there is scant chance of success. In the early days of our drinking, we occasionally remained sober for a year or more, becoming serious drinkers again later. Though you may be able to stop for a considerable period, you may yet be Though you may be able to stop for a considerable period, you may yet be a potential alcoholic. We think few to whom this book will appeal can stay dry anything like a year. Some will be drunk the day after making their resolution, most of them within a few weeks. There's the Google Drive, you guys, if you want to follow along and read with us if you don't have the big book. Thank you, Sonia. You're so amazing. So I'm going to stop right there. So, okay, in this paragraph that I just read, so I have a whole bunch of stuff written out to the side of the book. So I have real alcoholic written out to, if anyone questions whether he has entered this dangerous area, let him try leaving liquor alone for 1 year. 1/3 are under 30 years old. Okay, so that also says that if you backtrack a little bit to when we were reading last week, it was talking about we who are familiar with the symptoms see large numbers of potential alcoholics among young people everywhere. Young people under the age of 30. Though you may be able to stop for a considerable period, you may yet be a potential alcoholic. We think few to whom this book will appeal can stay dry anything like a year. Some will be drunk the day after making their resolutions, most of them within a few weeks. So I can't tell you how many times on New Year's, you guys, I would be like, this is the year. This is the year that I'm going to get my life together. I'm not going to go back to that life. I'm quitting. I'm getting sober. And I literally wouldn't even make it 2 days, maybe a 24 hours. For those who are unable to drink moderately, the question is how to stop altogether. We are assuming, of course, that the reader desires to stop. Whether such a person can quit upon a non-spiritual basis depends upon the extent to which he has already lost the power to choose whether he will drink or not. So right now, this is saying whether such a person can quit upon a non-spiritual basis depends upon the extent to which he has already lost the power of choice. So, if he can quit without the help of a power greater than himself, it really depends on how far he's gone down the rails. If he is a real alcoholic, has lost all power to choose whether he drinks or not, most likely he's going to need like divine intervention, a miracle, basically. That's what they're saying, you guys. That's what they're saying, that when you get into AA and you start working the program, they're telling you that if you work this program, I love you too, and you're willing and you give it all you got, that you're a power greater than you will intervene and remove the desire to drink from you. That's what this is telling us about, right? That willingness, open-mindedness, and honesty really, really does like help you to get on the straight and narrow. And then I'm telling you guys, like, I didn't think it was true. I didn't believe it. And I had gotten so far away from God, you guys, like I could not stand him. I thought he had abandoned me. I was not talking to him. He was not on my team. We were not in the same. And I started working this program with my sponsor and slowly started making baby steps toward communicating and talking to my higher power, you guys. And I'm telling you right now that it changed my life. Many of us felt that we had plenty of character. There was a tremendous urge to cease forever, yet we found it impossible. This is the baffling feature of alcoholism as we know it. This utter inability to leave it alone, no matter how great the necessity or wish. Let's read that again. Many of us felt that we had plenty of character. There was a tremendous urge to cease forever. We wanted to stop forever. Yet we found it impossible. This is the baffling feature of alcoholism as we know it. This utter inability to leave it alone, no matter how great the necessity or wish, no matter how great the need. Let me tell you a really extreme case that happened to a girl that I knew that I was in treatment with. I went to treatment this last time, and while I was in there, I was in treatment with this girl. She was an alcoholic. She was in treatment because she was She had cirrhosis of the liver. And if she didn't get sober, she was going to die. She went through treatment. It was amazing. She had been restored. When she came into treatment, you guys, her eyes were yellow. Her skin was yellow. And by the time she left, you could see the whites of her eyes again. Not even 6 months out of treatment, she relapsed and she died from cirrhosis of the liver. Alcoholism killed her. That's how cunning, baffling, and powerful addiction and alcoholism is. Even though her life was on the line, she still drank, and it killed her. How then shall we help our readers determine to their own satisfaction whether they are one of us? The experiment of quitting for a period of time will be helpful, but we think we can render an even greater service to alcoholic sufferers, and perhaps to the medical fraternity. So we shall describe some of the mental states that precede a relapse into drinking, for obviously this is the crux of the problem. This is what precedes a relapse. What sort of thinking dominates an alcoholic who repeats time after time the desperate experiment of the first drink? Which you know it's an experiment because you're like, oh, I'm going to drink this one, or I'm going to take this one pill, and maybe, because that's what it is, it's a dice roll. It's a Russian roulette with your life. Maybe I'll make it out alive today. Or I could drink this and go drive my car off a bridge. Hey, girl. Okay. Friends who have reasoned with him after a spree, which has brought him to the point of divorce or bankruptcy, are mystified when he walks directly into a saloon. Why does he? Of what is he thinking? This is insanity. Just right here, it's telling you, like, his friends are looking at him, they're like, okay, he's filed bankruptcy, his wife has divorced him, he's probably dying from cirrhosis, and he still is walking into the bar. Because that's insanity. Somebody who chooses to kill themselves and put their life on the line for a substance, that's because we're insane. We're sick, you guys. Our first example is a friend we shall call Jim. This is an example, okay? This man has a charming wife and family. He inherited a lucrative automobile agency. So he's a car salesman, or he owns the car dealership. He had a commendable World War record. He is a good salesman. Everybody likes him. He is an intelligent man, normal so far as we can see, except for a nervous disposition. He did no drinking until he was 35. In a few years, he became so violent when intoxicated that he had to be committed. On leaving the asylum, he came into contact with us. We told him what we knew of alcoholism and the answers we had found. He made a beginning. His family was reassembled, and he began to work as a salesman for the business he had lost through drinking. All went well for a time, but he failed to enlarge on his spiritual life. To his consternation, what is that word? Consternation, yeah. He found himself drunk 6 times in rapid succession. On each of these occasions, we worked with him, reviewing carefully what had happened. So, he lost his business, but he got sober, started working there as a salesman. Okay? He failed to enlarge on his spiritual life, conscious contact with his higher power, remember? And he relapsed and ended up drunk 12 times in rapid succession. On each of these occasions, we worked with him, reviewing carefully what had happened. He agreed. You see, guys, why I ask you, if you come in here and you say, I relapsed, I say, okay, what happened? What did you do differently? What was it that you didn't keep doing? Okay, that's why I asked you. He agreed he was a real alcoholic and in a serious condition. He knew he faced another trip to the asylum if he kept on. Moreover, he would lose his family, for who he had a deep affection. Loved his family very much. Yet, he got drunk again. We asked him to tell us exactly how it happened. This is his story. I came to work on Tuesday morning. I remember I felt irritated that I had to be a salesman for a concern I once owned. I had a few words with the boss, but nothing serious. Then I decided to drive into the country and see one of my prospects for a car. On the way, I felt hungry, so I stopped at a roadside place where they have a bar. I had no intention of drinking. I just thought I would get a sandwich. I also had the notion that I might find a customer for a car at this place, which was familiar, for I had been going to it for years. I had eaten there many times during the months I was sober. I sat down at a table and ordered a sandwich and a glass of milk. Still no thought of drinking. I ordered another sandwich and decided to have another glass of milk. Suddenly, the thought crossed my mind that if I were to put an ounce of whiskey in my milk, it couldn't hurt me on a full stomach. I ordered a whiskey and poured it into the milk. I vaguely sensed I was not being any too smart, but felt reassured as I was taking the whiskey on a full stomach. The experiment went so well that I ordered another whiskey and poured it into more milk. That didn't seem to bother me, so I tried another. Thus started one more journey to the asylum for Jim. Here was the threat of commitment, the loss of family and position, to say nothing of that intense mental and physical suffering which drinking always caused him. He had much knowledge about himself as an alcoholic. Yet all reasons for not drinking were easily pushed aside in favor of the foolish idea that he could take whiskey if only he mixed it with milk. Whatever the precise definition of the word may be, we call this plain insanity. How can such a lack of proportion of the ability to think straight be called anything else? You may think this is an extreme case. To us, it is not far-fetched, for this kind of thinking has been characterized of every single one of us. We have sometimes reflected more than Jim did upon the consequences. But there was always the curious mental phenomenon that, parallel with our sound reasoning, there inevitably ran some insanely trivial excuse for taking the first drink. Excuse. We always can find a reason to justify and rationalize, even if our family, our jobs. I cannot tell you how many times, you guys, I lost jobs, wrecked cars, went to jail, got arrested because I thought that I could control it. I thought I could handle it. Next, our sound reasoning failed to hold us in check. The insane idea won out. Next day, we would ask ourselves in all earnestness and sincerity, how could it have happened? In some circumstances, we have gone out deliberately to get drunk, feeling ourselves justified by nervousness, anger, worry, depression, jealousy, or the like. But even in this type of beginning, we are obliged to admit that our justification for a spree was insanely insufficient in the light of what always happened. There's never a good enough reason to go out and relapse. Because that's why I would say, like, my family member could die today, but I don't have to go out and get high over that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, because if I'm going to go out and do that, I'm putting myself in the position to die, you know? That's what drinking and drugging is to me now. It's death. That's what it equals. If I go out and get high today, y'all, I'm going to die. My son's not going to have a mom. My husband's not going to have a wife, you know? Okay, but even in this type of beginning, we were obliged to admit that our justification for a spree was insanely insufficient in the light of what always happened. We now see that when we began to drink deliberately instead of casually, there was little serious or effective thought during the period of premeditation of what the terrific consequences might be. play the tape all the way through. So that's when I always talk to you guys about, if you have a thought, which we all see from this book, Julie, good job. We all see from this book that every alcoholic and addict, those thoughts come into our minds, right? But it's my responsibility and my job to learn and train my brain to, okay, the thought has come. Now let me play my mental tape past and all the way through that thought, past the feelings that are produced by alcoholism, alcohol and drugs, and to the consequences that I get that are given to me when I drink and use. Our behavior is as absurd and incomprehensible with respect to the first drink as that of an individual with a passion, say, for jaywalking. He gets a thrill out of skipping in front of a fast-moving vehicle. He enjoys himself for a few years in spite of friendly warnings. Up to this point, you would label him as a foolish chap, having queer ideas of fun. Luck then deserts him, and he is slightly injured several times in succession. You would expect him, if he were normal, to cut it out. Presently, he is hit again, and this time has a fractured skull. Within a week after leaving the hospital, a fast-moving trolley car breaks his arm. He tells you he has decided to stop jaywalking for good, but in a few weeks, he breaks both legs. On through the years, this conduct continues, accompanied by his continual promises to be careful or to keep off the streets altogether. Finally, he can no longer work. His wife gets a divorce and he is held up to ridicule. He tries every known means to get the jaywalking idea out of his head. Right here, the obsession to use. He is obsessing over jaywalking. He is obsessing over getting high. He shuts himself up in the asylum, hoping to mend his ways. But the day he comes out, he races in front of a fire engine, which breaks his back. Such a man would be crazy, wouldn't he? No, he wouldn't. Because I did the same thing. Got out of treatment and went and got high. You know? You may think our illustration is too ridiculous, but is it? We who have been through the ringer have to admit, if we substituted alcoholism for jaywalking, the illustration would fit us exactly. However intelligent we may have been in other respects, where alcohol has been involved, we have been strangely insane. It's strong language, but isn't it true? Some of you are thinking, yes, what you tell us is true, but it doesn't fully apply. We admit we have some of these symptoms, but we have not gone to the extremes you fellows did. Nor are we likely to. For we understand ourselves so well after what you have told us that such things cannot happen again. We have not lost everything in life through drinking, and we certainly do not intend to. Thanks for the information. This is what I love when I hear people tell me, well, I wasn't homeless. Oh, I didn't let myself get that bad. I still have my job. Or, I would never shoot up. That's disgusting. Or, I don't drink alcohol. I only snort cocaine. Or, girl, you had sex for drugs? Oh my God, I would never let myself get that bad. This is exactly what this is talking about. Okay, the yets. Eventually you will get there. Okay, honey, just keep on going. Remember we talked about in the other book, it said, it's not how far you've gone, it's where you're headed. Okay? It's not how far you've gone, it's where you're headed. It's the train you're riding, baby. You're taking a train to nowhere land. That may be true of certain non-alcoholic people who, though drinking foolishly and heavily at the present time, are able to stop or moderate, because their brains and bodies have not been damaged as ours were. But the actual or potential alcoholic, with hardly an exception, will be absolutely unable to stop drinking on the basis of self-knowledge. This is a point we wish to emphasize and re-emphasize. to smash home upon our alcoholic readers as it has been revealed to us out of bitter experience. Okay? So I'm going to stop there. Let me see. 39. Yeah, we'll stop there because there's like, yeah, that's fine. Let me get my little pen. Let me highlight where I'm at. Sorry, I went a little farther. Okay. So we're right here because we're going to read the next story, which is about Fred. The other one was about Jim. So that's where we're stopped. But basically, this is why I love this book, you guys. And I was reading the NA book yesterday, but it's really a lot different than this book. This book is just like, you could, I don't know, I love reading it. But this is just basically saying, like, I cannot tell you guys how many times I've heard people say, like, you know, well, I'm okay, I still have a job, or I'm not kicked out of my parents' house, or, you know, nobody can tell when I'm high, or, you know, I'm not down that far. And it's like, that's not what matters. What matters is that you would rather use substances to live your life, right? And that's an alcoholic and an addict. And just because you hadn't gotten to a point where another person has got doesn't mean that's not a horrible place to be. Do you know what I'm saying? Bill must have been writing this book. And yes. Did you hear that? You will eventually get there. That's what you will eventually get there. Yet. That's why I'm sure they were sitting down and they probably had so many alcoholics that they tried to help, you guys. Because let's think about it. We're drug addicts. So I feel like it's a little more, it's extreme, you know? But when there's an alcohol, think about the alcoholics. Put yourself in just an alcoholic. You didn't do drugs. Okay? And alcohol is accepted. It's legal. Okay? Imagine being a grown person and drinking and losing your job, or drinking only at night when you get off your job and not losing your job, and knowing you have a problem and going to AA, and then AA telling you, like, hey, guy, man, you're an alcoholic, and you're like, well, no, I'm not underneath a bridge with a bottle in a bag. That's how people think of an alcoholic. They think of somebody underneath a bridge with a bottle in a bag, paper bag, you know, drunk, homeless underneath a bridge. And so a lot of people, and including me, I did the same thing. We will justify and rationalize because we're not that person underneath the bridge with a bottle. You know, and it's like, why would we want it to get to that point? It's, you know, it's like, but that's what we're setting ourselves up for. We're setting ourselves up for letting it get to that point. If drugs were legal, I would be dead. Period. I know. If they were, I mean, fuck it. They don't need to be legal. I was going to die anyway. But it's just, alcoholics and addicts, you guys, we will justify and rationalize any reason. Any reason. That part where it talked about going out and drinking on purpose because you had anxiety, or you were upset, or fearful, or depressed, or mad, or jittery. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I got fucked up to celebrate. Oh, it's Friday night. I'm getting high, you know? Or I just got a promotion at my job. Let's get fucked up. You know, and I went out to get fucked up on purpose. You know, we will, if we don't have, like, a reason, we'll fucking make one up in our minds, right? There doesn't have to be a reason. When you're an addict or an alcoholic, you can get drunk because it's fucking sun shining outside. You can get drunk because the damn earth is round, y'all. Do you hear me? It don't matter. It's like, duh, the earth is round. But that's how we are. We will just do, y'all, it's just, it's insanity. The only way I can explain it, and I can understand it now, is I was insane. I was insane. You know, it's our happy time to be happy. Yeah, I was just out of my mind. And then talking about the jaywalker. When he comes out of the hospital, he has been in the hospital trying to get the idea of jaywalking out of his head. That's me in rehab. Sitting in rehab trying to get dope out of my mind. I don't want to do dope. It's bad for me. It's bad for me. Getting out of treatment and going out and getting high. Same as the jaywalker. And it might seem like a very serious example, you guys, but it's not. It's the exact same thing. So you need to understand that that's what happens in our brains. It's a mental obsession, okay? It's a mental obsession. When that thought comes into our mind, we have that mental obsession that kicks in, all right? When we're triggered, then we think, then we obsess, then we pick up and use. The obsession of the mind. Yes, and you guys, that's when you know you're in no man's land, is when you're obsessing over drinking and getting high. When you're in that obsession period, you need to call 911. You need to call your sponsor. You need to run to church. You need to go get baptized, baby. You need to do something. You need to jump out, fucking go to the damn crazy house and have them put you in a straitjacket because you are on your way to go and get high or getting drunk. It's like we have to be mindful. We have got to start realizing where our mind is taking us and what we're thinking, you know? If you're struggling, that's one of the things that I've learned in sobriety is that I've got to start identifying how I'm feeling, and if I'm struggling, I need to speak out. Don't let it be a secret, because when we have these secrets, you guys, I was just commenting this on somebody else's channel. When we don't say anything about it, we keep it a secret that we're struggling. It's almost like a permission statement, okay, to our mind. Like we're letting it slide and not letting anybody know. And with an addict, diseased mind like mine, that one little slide, that kind of like hanging out, keeping that secret, that is the foundation for a lot of other secrets to pile up on top of each other. My wisdom teeth removed because pain is such a big trigger, but I have been very, very open to my doctors. Yeah, you did a really good job, Sonia. And that's the thing. You just got to tell on it. Even if you're not like on the phone talking to somebody all day, like texting me and saying, like, I really thought I was going to be doing this, da-da-da-da-da. Like, that's just like the act of telling on what's going on in your mind. You know, it's totally normal to go through what you're going through. I had my teeth pulled, and I had the same situation, only they didn't give me anything, and they didn't give you anything either. I forgot about that. But I know what you mean. Like, I could have manipulated and got payments, but, you know, we told on ourselves, and we didn't, and that's because, you know, we are staying connected. It's so important, you guys, for us to stay connected in recovery. And, you know, sometimes I have days where I just don't feel like doing anything, you guys. Like today, that's how it's been. I've been sleeping. But I'll tell you, I took Nate to the water park, so I got kind of hot out there. But I'll tell you this, connection is so important in your recovery, and it's really going to help you stay sober. So, anyway, I'm tired. This is a short one, you guys. I love y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed it. What's tomorrow? Wednesday? Yeah, I got to work all day tomorrow, you guys. You did good. Oh, my God, good. Good, Tasha. Yeah? Okay, I'll get her. Well, my baby Nate's texted me, or paging me, so I better get off here, you guys. I love y'all. Have a good night. I'm coming scoop.